All my grown folk out there, won't you gather around? Take a real good listen to Miss B-Town. She'll give you the real deal while showing you love. She was sent from heaven above, so check it out. Miss B-Town Hester's in the house, giving you all the news that you can use and more. So check it out. Miss B-Town Hester's in the house, giving you everything you want and more. Keep growing, keep showing. Those who are lost and have gone astray, keep blessing with life lessons. Show them the way, so check it out. Miss B-Town Hester's in the house, giving you all the news that you can use and more. So check it out. Miss B-Town Hester's in the house, giving you everything you want and more. So check it out. Miss B-Town Hester's in the house. All the news that you can use and more. So check it out. Miss B-Town Hester's in the house. Everything you want and more. So check it out.
Hey guys, how's it going? How's it going? Welcome in to my live. Hope everyone had a great day. And please hit the like button. Today we're going to talk about a teen, Michaela Miller. She's a black LGBTQ teen. Was reportedly lynched in Boston suburbs. She was found hanging from a tree in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. Now, this story to me has a lot of red flags, but I'll see what you guys have to say. A vigil has been planned to demand answers following the death of a black LGBT teenage girl who was found hanging from a tree last month in a mostly white suburban area of Boston. Her mother was reportedly described the death in terms similar to lynching. Michaela Miller was found dead on April 18th in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. Let me take this down. Uh-huh. Okay. But the investigators but the investigation into the 16-year-old's death was delayed by local police under the threat of exposing high school students' sexuality, according to a social media post. The statement alleged that Michaela was ambushed and murdered by a group of kids. The statement added that neither the Hopkinton Police Department nor the Massachusetts State Police responded accordingly, and that a state trooper warned Michaela's mother against seeking media attention or else her daughter's sexuality would be exposed. They will not cover up her murder, the statement said. Okay, I want to read a statement that was from it's called the Violence in Boston's Incorporated, and they tweeted, "Suspicious death of Black Hopkinton teenager Michaela Miller. I was absolutely gutted today by the news. Please support Michaela's family and demand justice by going to the vigil this Thursday, May 6th, from the mother. My daughter was jumped by a group of kids on Saturday, April 17th, 2021, and was then murdered hours later in Hopkinton, tied to a tree and left tied to a tree and left. The Hopkinton police did not log either of these incidents when my daughter was ambushed, nor when she was found dead. The state police did. But that's where they found her dead. The Middlesex District Attorney's Office on Sunday confirmed it was investigating the case and denied any suggestions to the contrary. However, there was no confirmation about the motive behind Miller's death, such as racism, homophobia, or suicide following bullying. And I don't want to stop right because I do want to bring awareness to the fact that she had just broken up with her girlfriend. Uh, I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. Now, the DA Marion Ryan tweeted, "The death of Michaela Miller is a tragedy and an unimaginable loss for her family and the entire community. We know that everyone mourning is seeking answers. Our investigation to the events of April 17th and 18th, 2001 remains open. Full statement below." The death of Michaela Miller is a tragedy and an unimaginable loss for her family and the entire community. We know that everyone mourning her is seeking answers. Our investigation into the events of April 17th through the 18th, 2020 and 21 remains open while we await a ruling of a case and a manner of death from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. We will continue gathering information and interviewing witnesses as these investigations unfold. We will continue to be in contact with Michaela's family and their representatives. The idea that we did not investigate bullying or a murder as the allegations is not true. Middlesex District Attorney Marion Ryan told CBS Boston. Nonprofit group Violence in Boston has planned a candlelight vigil for Michaela on Thursday. Said Hopkins residents have been sending nasty messages to people who plan to attend. Hopkinton, located about 36 miles from Boston, is 84% white and nearly 2% black, according to the census data. Out, so you can do OUT.com, a pro LGBT website, identified Michaela as LGBTQ, and the Facebook event page for the visual says Michaela identified as LGBTQIA. I don't know what all these letters stand for. I'm gonna warn you now, okay? Um, Maybe that's something we can talk about if we get together. The Facebook page has honored Michaela, was an honor student and honor athlete who played basketball and wanted to attend a historically black college or university. Not just any HBCU, the event page says. Michaela wanted to attend Spelman or Howard. She wanted to study journalism. Violence in Boston asked how violence in Boston asked how anyone can be sure Michaela died by suicide and pointed to the statement slandering her mother or possible evidence, and there was a cover up at play. They're slandering Michaela's mother because things like the death of Michaela's father and how he pays her rent. Wait, what? They are slandering Michaela's mother because things like the death of Michaela's father and how she pays her rent. Okay, how she pays her rent. Violence in Boston wrote Monday in a Facebook post. These clear folks are violent and police officers police officers' families. The amount of hate messages I have received during this is disgusting. The statement added, the cover up is real. A request for comment from the violence in Boston was not immediately returned. As news has spread of Michaela's death, social media posts have, have claimed without proof that it was a lynching. CBS Boston reported that the Middlesex District Attorney's Office does not consider Michaela's death suspicious, but says she was involved in an altercation prior to being found dead. But as Violence in Boston accurately pointed out, an official cause of death has not been established for Michaela nearly 4 weeks after she was found dead, despite an autopsy has been conducted. Michaela's mother and aunt told CBS Boston that more information will be announced on the vigil Thursday. There has been a troubling series of black men found hanging across the country under under questionable circumstances in recent years. In December, a law enforcement officer in Georgia determined the cause of death for Omari Bryant was suicide, despite his family maintaining that the 18-year-old was not suicidal. Bryant's body was found hanging in front of a motel. Okay, now we already we already see some holes in the story already. Okay, but I want to bring you up to date, which was 4 hours ago. This is the best they had off. A black teen was found dead in Massachusetts town last month. Her family wants answers. Hopkinton, Massachusetts. On the morning of April 18th, Michaela, a black teenager, was found dead in a wooded area by a jogger in what the Middlesex County District Attorney's Office initially said was not considered a suspicious death. Now, how can this baby's death not be suspicious? First of all, where she was found dead. Second of all, it's obviously cover ups. Why wasn't it reported of the incidents of her being jumped and things of that nature? So it's little small things like that that she may would still be here. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Hopkinton, Massachusetts. Michaela Miller and her mother, Calvina Struthers, were two peas in a pod. She loved to make her mom tea every night and was often her mom's dinner date. As the two enjoyed going to eat, they traveled together regularly and quick trips from their home to Massachusetts to Maine or New Hampshire and had plans to return to Trinidad soon. Michaela was only 16 years old. She was my bright and shining star in this case, in this crazy world. Strother said at a rather at a rally Thursday for her daughter, less than a month since her daughter's death. On the morning of April 18th, Michaela, a black teenager, was found dead in a wooded area by a jogger in what the Middlesex County District Attorney's Office initially said was not considered a suspicious death. It remains open and active investigation, the office said at the time. In the weeks since the details have trickled out about what occurred before Michaela's death, Strother said Michaela was found hanging from a tree by a belt, and she believes her daughter was killed just hours after she was assaulted by a group of teenagers. Southers, Southers and local activists also raised concerns on how police and the district attorney have handled the case so far. My bri- I want a full and transparent investigation, Strother said Thursday as she disputed some details of authorities' account of what happened. I don't want to be a vigilant in this, Strother said. I don't want to have to spend all day on the phone and getting and passing along evidence in order for justice to be served. What I want is for criminal justice system to work. Middlesex County District Attorney Marion Ryan held a news conference Tuesday saying her office was not has not reached a final conclusion in the case of the medical examiner and has not ruled yet the cause of the manner of Michaela's death. Hold on one second. See if I can get this played for y'all. And today, Michaela Miller, the sun came out. Now, this is from the visual that you see in front of you. If you can hear this, please type one. It is beaming and shining and warming us up just like Michaela Miller did in her 16 short years. And we're here to support this family, and I'd ask that you say her name, Michaela Miller. Say her name. Say her name. I can't hear you. Say her name. 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 And so, ladies, given everything that has transpired, this is her mom speaking. I want to make sure that I am clear about my goals in all of this. It's to have full transparency and get justice for my daughter, Michaela. Justice for the criminal justice system to work. I want the Hopkinton Police Department and the Millbury State Troopers Department, who are responsible for this case, and the DA and all of the powers that be,
to work as hard to get justice for Michaela as they would do for their own child. Real? Racism exists. Racism exists in the United States of America. Racism exists in the state of Massachusetts. And I know we're in Hopkinton, but racism does exist in Hopkinton, ladies and gentlemen. And it takes an active, mobilized, coordinated, and deliberate stance against racism to be anti-racist. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? And I just want you to, for 1 second, I just want you to close your eyes for 1 second. Imagine she was white and 5 black kids beat her up one night. And the next morning, she was found dead. Now open your eyes, Hopkinton. Open your eyes and see the truth that we know if Michaela was a young white girl, we wouldn't be here 2.5 weeks after. We might be here 2 days after her loss. We wouldn't have to fight the DA and the state police for justice, that those kids would actually be brought to justice. We know that to be the case, ladies and gentlemen.
And I do want to say it is mixed race out here.
We want to light these candles for Michaela today. So what we're going to do right now.
They're lighting
So
candles.
in days to come, I want to invite each of you to continue to hold this family in your prayers, your thoughts. I want to thank for all of our black children, all our black lives, to allow their lights to shine. Justice and do mercy. Amen.
And the Black Lives Matter flag wave. So they obviously knows that there is racism very much alive in Massachusetts. Okay. Now, she broke up with her girlfriend. Now, which order I don't know that this went in. I don't know if she got jumped, and then she broke up with the girlfriend, or if she broke up with the girlfriend and then got jumped, and then later found dead. But obviously, all of it plays hand in hand, some point or time. Um, her mom had said, she said, in the weeks since, details have trickled out about what occurred before Michaela's death. Schroeder said Michaela was found hanging from a tree by a bell, and she believes her daughter was killed just hours after she was assaulted by a group of people. Okay. Then she goes on to say, I want a full, transparent investigation. She's not sitting down on this. I give her credit for that. I would work to the end. Unfortunately, I wish I was in Massachusetts with her so that I could help her work on this case. She says, I don't want to be vigilant. I want to be a part. I'm by my phone all day, passing along evidence or anything that seems like evidence. That was the conference that I just played for y'all. I told you that she loved basketball. Uh, okay. What happened before Michaela Miller died? Ryan and Strothers both said Michaela was assaulted hours before her death, when a group of 5 other teenagers arrived at Michaela's apartment complex. Struthers said 2 were 18-year-old and and an and on a GoFundMe webpage said the teens were white. Ryan said the teens were a variety of races, and her office does not have the evidence, positive or negative, indicating race played roles in this assault. Ryan later clarified in an interview with WGH News the teens were white and Latino. According to Ryan, 4 teens entered a common clubhouse at the complex as a fifth was outside. The evening on April 17th, Michaela had already been in the clubhouse with 2 friends who left before the group of teens joined. The DA disputes wrongdoing. No cover up in this investigation of Michaela's death. Yeah, right. Where are the 4 teens? Wait a minute, excuse me. While the 4 teens, one of them is a girl Michaela had a relationship with, were inside, Michaela got into an altercation with one boy and one girl, Ryan said. At 7:20 p.m., Michaela's mother called police and said her daughter was jumped. Michaela told police that she was pushed and punched in the face and had a bloody lip, which matched what she told police, Ryan said. Police left at 7:43 p.m. and spoke to one of the girls who was at the clubhouse when then returned and discovered damage outside and inside the clubhouse. Ryan said an investigation into the assault remains open, but no charges were pending. Michaela's mother went to bed between 9:30 9:45 p.m. and thought her daughter was home, Ryan said, but Michaela left at some point, according to a health app on her phone. Michaela's cell phone indicated that between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., the phone traveled 1,316 steps, which is approximately distant from Michaela's home and where her body had been subsequently been located, and what the district attorney says. However, Ryan said investigators can't say with certainty that the 1,316 steps were to the area where she was found. We only know that between 9 and 10, she took those steps. Where they went or how they went, we don't know. A jogger found Michaela's body the following morning just off a walking path and called the police. Struthers on Thursday, however, said the information about the number of steps Michaela walked was untrue, and her phone could not track her steps. In a statement to USA Today, a spokesperson for Ryan's office stood by Ryan's statement that the steps came from a health app and declined to comment further. Struthers also said Ryan's office delayed contacting her. Wait a minute, hold on, y'all. That's slapping. Let me text her and tell her I'm live. Sorry about that, guys. Now I gotta find my spot. I'm lying on the pen. Okay, let's start. Struthers and also said Ryan's office delayed contacting her after Michaela's death and accused local and state police of lying on her family. Hopkinton police did not immediately respond to U.S. Today, request for comment, and state police referred USA Today to Ryan's office. One thing that bothers me about this case is what does how her mama pay her rent has anything to do with this baby's death? That's neither here or there. Already trying to belittle her and her mom. That's obvious. Oh, sorry. Strother said she wanted to see the police reports from Michaela's assault and from when her body was found, as well as forensic evidence from the belt from the belt which Michaela was hanging from. She also said she want Michaela's personal items returned. According to the GoFundMe webpage, Strother's police said prematurely concluded Michaela died by suicide, as initial statements from authorities indicated the death was ruled suspicious. Struthers also said she wanted anyone involved in the case, including the five teens, to be fully investigated, which is only right. That's where they should have started, is with those five teens. In comments earlier this week, Ryan said the whereabouts of the four teens who had been in the clubhouse during the altercation were accounted were accounted for using cell phone data, digital evidence, and witness statements. They were not in the area around where Michaela's body was found, Ryan said. So I guess that frees them up from that. Hundreds of people flooded the Hopkinton town common late Thursday afternoon, standing largely silently as they listened to a group of speakers. Many held signs reading Black Lives Matter, which I do have that picture. Black Lives. Come on, wait, okay. Many said they were there to support the family and honor Michaela. Others said they were there for support but wanted justice and answers. I can't believe we're just finding out about this, and we wouldn't have if she was a white kid, says Hannah Chamber. People would have burned down the town if she had been a white kid. See, that the thing of it is, okay, she was killed, and they heard nothing about it. It was like swept. Hey, Slappy, welcome in, sweetie. Was swept. It's in Massachusetts. It was swept underneath the rug. If the mother hadn't kept this in the forefront, this would be a cold case already, just a month later. And it being where she was found, remember, she was found in a part of Massachusetts where it's 84% white. And they mentioned the fact of how her mother pays her rent, which means she may be on Section 8 or live in public housing, whatever the situation is. But what does that have to do with the fact that her daughter was found hanging from a tree and had just recently been jumped by, what they say, four kids, while the ex-girlfriend was there at the clubhouse where Michaela lived? Come on. Monica Cannon Grant, founder of the nonprofit Violence in Boston, in an interview with WGBH, called on Ryan to step down and said the FBI would investigate the case. Well, that's good to hear. The case has also drawn comments from Ryan Ayanna Presley. I guess I don't know what position she held. They don't have that here. Saying they need to be full transparency, independent investigation into her death. What's next? Ryan vowed to release all information in the case once the investigation is concluded and with permission of Michaela's family. We repeatedly said information was preliminary and the investigation was ongoing while officials await a medical examiner's report. I understand that you certainly would want to know immediately exactly what happened to your child's last moment. And it is a great disappointment always that we cannot immediately give family those answers, Ryan said on Tuesday. Ryan said the medical examiner's office will still process the evidence and the time it was taken to do so since Michaela's death was not unusual. Jake Ward, a spokesperson for the state office for chief medical examiner, referred USA Today to Ryan's office when asked for a timeline when the information would be released. So y'all can best believe I will stay on top of this one. And the reason let me explain the reason I target some of these stories like this is a story that got very little media attention other than right there locally, which they had to pretty much keep it in the media by doing the visuals, by her mom doing the press conference that I let you hear. Things of that nature. As far as the police go, they were not, it was open and shut. They was going to rule it suicide. That's it. Going by what the family saying, um, this baby didn't seem to be suicidal to me. Um, she was recently in a breakup, but people break up all the time. So that should have played a hand into that. It could have. I won't rule that out. But being that she was a part of the LBGT, what they say, LBGTQA community, and as a teenager, they do have a hard time. They catch it really, really rough. It's already hard being a teen, just being not being gay, just being straight and trying to find yourself, figure things out, find your way in this world. And then, but when you're actually dealing with, okay, I'm gay, people don't want to accept me, this, that, and the other, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I was just amazed at how they were just going to sweep this story right under the rug. I guess because of how her mother pays her rent. That statement really bothered me. Bothered me. Bothered me, and it made it very obvious that it was racially. I don't care how you look at it. There's either if her actual death wasn't anything racial, the actions that authorities have taken afterwards has been racial. So either way it goes, and it even said here, as I read to you, Massachusetts still deals with a lot of racism. One reason why me myself, I would not prefer to live there for myself. You're right, it's like Nappy Child. It never stops its own going. I see so many. If I did all these cases, I would have a video up every hour and still wouldn't get them all. Still would not get them all. My thing is, if she was going to commit suicide, why would she go there to commit suicide? She could have did that in her home when her mom wasn't there. There's trees around her house, around her neighborhood. Why would she go over to a predominantly white neighborhood to hang herself? And to hang yourself, just think about it. Hanging yourself don't seem like it would be the easiest thing to do by yourself, especially from a tree, especially from a tree. Because you got to be tall enough to even reach the branch, or you have to climb that tree. And Michaela was like me, she had a little meat on her bone. Climbing trees ain't really our hobby. No, Napa child, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Not at all. And it's almost like someone had to be there. If she could have very well already been dead, but somebody would have had to lift her up long enough for someone to tie that rope around the tree branch and then to let her body go. It's just a lot. It's a lot. It obviously there is stuff being covered up. Um, but her mom is not sleeping on her. Unfortunately, her dad is deceased, but her mom is not sleeping on it. She is there for it every step of the way, and I do not blame her by no means. And I encourage y'all to check it out because it's all over. If you just type in Massachusetts teen found dead, and you'll see all of the conferences. And I just played the one where the mother was speaking, but you'll see all of the conferences about the situation and things of that nature. How the police department is trying to cover it up or just trying to rule it at being suicide, leave it there, let it go. No. The child that was described to us, that doesn't sound like her. That really doesn't. And she walked 1,000, she walked over 1,000, a little less than 1,200 feet to do that. That would put her in the area of which this happened to her. Sounds more like she went there to meet someone. Yeah, they said it was a belt. Yep, it was a belt. So they say. But that baby could already have been dead. Could have been blunt force trauma, anything that would have helped them stage the suicide scene easier. I see, I haven't heard a reason yet. Or the other kids jumping it. What was the reason? Nobody's giving a reason on that. Nobody's giving a reason. And then you take all that into consideration. I mean, a happy child gets into an altercation with some, I mean, a happy child that was looking forward to a better life. She wasn't talking about just going to any old school. Spelman, come on. So she wanted things in life. Just to end her life so abruptly like that. In my ear. I wish her mother could have afforded to relocate.
Paul Walker double feature movie camera. Catch a double feature of Vehicle 19 and Brick Mansions on Pluto TV action.
Sometimes children deal with a lot from other
YouTube,
children
Red Circle MZB
before
Town
they
Hester.
even say
Mass. 10
anything
found dead in the woods.
to to a parent or to anybody. They'll take a lot before they'll actually mention it. And this could have also been the case. But this one really grabbed my attention, got under my skin, and I had to I will be walking along with this case as much as I can. Unfortunately, I'm not there in Massachusetts, because then they might find me wind up in some trees somewhere with my mouth. But it will be well worth it to know exactly what happened to this baby. And it seems like that's what the mom's gonna do. She's not gonna take no I guess, or this maybe could what happened, or this could have happened, or that. No, you're gonna tell me what happened. Cause just like they said, has she been a white child, jumped by 4 or 5 black kids? We all know how the story goes. We all know, and not to bring. I mean, not to. Well, you have to bring racism into it. It's just that simple. It's no way of getting around it. No way at all. Look, Slappy said this got me so upset. She probably looked at crying. It don't take much. It just tear her nerves up. Bless her heart. It took a lot for me to go live. I had to get myself together because it's a lot. I almost started just to do a video and put it up, but that wasn't enough. I felt like I wanted to talk about it a little bit, so I said, okay, I'll suck it up. I'll go live. I'll go live. Okay, and I will drop the link if anyone cares to come up, give their opinion, or talk about anything else. That's right, BBK. I do too. Especially with stuff like this, I like to hear opinions versus just doing a video. Yeah, Never Child, it will make you mad. It will make you mad. And it puts the cops, all authorities, under the scope. Okay, you have a job to do here. Let's test your abilities. A job that you thought you were going to be able just to sweep under the rug as suicide. But it has too many holes in it. Way too many. Just too many holes. If anybody would like to come up, feel free. There's the link. How you been doing, BBK? I seen you in here the other day, but I think I was doing another story at that time. I spoke, but I meant to speak again. Good. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. When you having another spades night? Okay. If there's no more questions or comments, okay, tomorrow night. Yeah, late night. Okay, good. Good. Okay. I'll be over there. If there's no more questions or comments, I will let you guys go. It's Friday night, and I'm sure the streets are hot. At least interesting if they're not hot. Trust me. I want to thank all of you for coming in, for listening to the replay gang. Thank you. I appreciate it. I will keep you abreast on this because this really bothers me. And I hope you guys have a great night. Be blessed. Please don't bother anybody, Slappy. Hey, look, Love Blake, you late. We were closing out. Make sure you go back and listen to the replay, Love Blake. This was a good one. Okay, guys. Thanks for coming. I may come back in tomorrow. If they have did any kind of updates or anything to this story, I know I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good one.